Welcome back, brother and sister veterans, to another episode of Sound Off. We'd like to welcome special guest, Ken and Priscilla Pate of KPM Leadership Academy. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Well, let me give them a proper introduction.
Sure.
All right. Kent and Priscilla were the founders of KPM Leadership Academy. Pioneers, trailblazers. COVID didn't stop them. They believed that yea, though they walked through the valley of shadow of death, they would not what?
Fear no evil.
That's right, because they knew that the Lord was with them. And so they're our mentors, our teachers, and kingdom champions for Jesus. Whoop, whoop.
Woof, woof.
Whoop, whoop. There you go.
And our friends.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, and our friends. Amen. Gunny?
Yeah, so tell us a little bit, what were you guys doing before you came to Polunsky?
We've had a nonprofit, Kent and Pate Ministries, for this year in 2026 will be 31 years. Can you believe that? I know I don't look that old, but 31 years, yeah. But anyways, primarily we would go to nations around the world. We've traveled to about 17 different nations.
Oh, wow.
And our heart was really to serve underserved communities. And a lot of years doing that. Kent and I both are certified speakers, trainers, and coaches with the John Maxwell. And so during that time, that season also, we began to do some corporate coaching. We would do some training in churches and things like that. And we're very fulfilled in that. So, question 2, how did you find yourself in a prison, right?
Right, yeah.
So, I've been to nations, been all around the world, but never had really even considered thinking about going into a prison. And Kent could probably tell you a little bit more on that.
I remember traveling down I-45 going northbound and looking over my shoulder at Priscilla and thinking in my heart, I really think that we're supposed to go into prison. I was feeling led that way through prayer that, your next step is to go into prison. And I felt like the Lord had been speaking directly to my heart, saying, when I was in prison, you came to see me. And my response was, yes, sir. Now, is Priscilla going to be a part of that? I sure hope so.
I got to break the news.
On the day that I asked her, would you be willing to go to prison with me? I was driving, so I looked out of the corner of my eye, but boy, you should have seen her head snap. I've never seen her head snap so quick at me. And she said, absolutely not. What are you thinking?
I did.
And I just kept praying. And I said, oh, yeah, I would think the same thing. I mean, I would have been pondering this in my heart. And so the day came where she said, well, tell me more. What are you thinking about? And I had been told that there was thousands of veterans incarcerated. And when I heard that, I was shocked because Priscilla and I were both born in boot camp. And we've been raised by veterans. I mean, all of our life. We've been given jobs by veterans. And if I look across my life and if I look over at the rearview mirror, and I look and I can see so many veterans have been there at important times in my life to catch me when I was falling. And I'm like, man, some of them aren't living on this planet anymore, but I've got to do them right. And I've got to pay it forward because they all taught me we don't leave people in the ditch, man.
Okay, but why Polunsky? Why'd you pick Polunsky?
Especially during one of the most dangerous times in the prison system when COVID. I remember when I was asked by Brother Corey Reese.
Yes.
And I was like, who's coming in right now?
Yeah.
Because nobody's coming
Nobody
in.
was coming
and nobody wants to come in,
Yeah.
And so I'm like, who are these people that want to come in right now in such a dangerous time?
Priscilla says this a lot of times, and, I just want to say thank you to you men for who you are, who you've become. We've known you all for 5 years, actually 5.5 years now. And we're so proud of you, and what we're doing today is just outstanding. And we've been watching the growth in you guys, and it's amazing to see how you've grown, and we've just been growing together. The day that we came on that cold November day, it was 2020. Right in the middle of COVID.
Right in the middle.
I remember Priscilla, we had 12 guys. You guys were in the class, and we started with 12.
That's
and
right.
I remember
There's this
Priscilla
particular-
went around and she said, okay, guys, let's just do a little interaction here. I want to know, what are you thankful for? And we got to Tommy Stewart, and I never forgot what he said. Tommy said, well, I'm very thankful that y'all are here, but why in the world would y'all come into this COVID-infested place? And I thought, we really didn't think about it. We were thinking about you. You were on our mind.
Led you to Polonsky.
First unit we went to was Carol Vance.
Okay.
We met Sean Oliver there.
Okay. And he's a former inmate from here. at
Yes,
Polonsky.
he
Served
spent
28
many
years
28 years.
here
Yes.
in Polonsky.
So-
very good
and
friend
had
of
been
mine.
moved, transferred to Carol Vance.
Yeah, he
So
was
I
actually
had,
the
I had my
pastor.
notebook
Yes.
open. I
Pastor
had my
here.
notebook open on the table. We'd
Yeah.
given all them their own notebook.
Uh-huh.
Right? They had their own book, and he's over writing in my book. I said, "Hey, man, that's my book."
What are you doing?
I'm thinking he's thinking he's writing in his book.
Right.
And he said, "No, I know it's your book." And I thought, "What are we doing here?" And I said, "I don't even know what that means." He says, "That's where you need to go." I said, "Now, how am I going to go to? I don't even know what this is. What does Polonsky mean?" He said, "That's where you need to be."
That's a unit
It was
you
like
need
a
to go
prophetic
to.
word. Pondered it for a while, and I thought to myself, "Now, what is he going to tell me to do?" I mean, I'm in here to be the teacher, and I realize, you know what? I'm here to learn too. I'm not here just as a teacher. I'm here to listen. I'm here to reflect. I'm here to leave here and think, what do I do next? And because of that day, I've realized Priscilla and I come here as students as much as we are teachers to glean from you guys, because you have some fantastic takeaways in our masterminds. When we leave here, we go, can you believe what these guys said? And that day, Sean Oliver wrote Polonsky. Priscilla says this, and I like this, and she tells you guys this. Priscilla says, when opportunity knocks, it's too late to prepare.
That's it.
That's right.
But you
You're
know,
absolutely right.
at the time you guys came, we were the only program active on this unit.
Right.
That's it.
But you know, God opens doors, and we have learned that when the door opens, you better go.
Even
And-
though it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, because we had been trying to get in, and it just the door kept closing. Then all of a sudden, the door opened wide because there was no programming. And but Kent and I have never been afraid to take on a challenge.
Okay.
And in that season, you know, we just felt like, okay, God, you open the door, and there is no programming. So it's really a prime time to be able to, if we can get in, to go in and begin to start getting something launched and up off the ground.
Let me ask you, what was the transition like coming to such a volatile, violent environment? Were you scared? Were you nervous?
Okay, I'll speak to that one because he didn't finish that story. You know, when we were driving down, and I said no, and I'm kind of ashamed to say that now, but you get the drift.
Yes,
I'm a
yes,
female. I'm
definitely.
coming into a male.
We're all about
Maximum
transparency.
you know, maximum
Death row
security,
unit.
death row unit.
Right,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
you know, I've seen lots of movies,
seen
a lot of
movies.
lot of crime movies, you know, and so yeah, I was scared, but this was what happened. I was standing on the outside. It wasn't at this unit; it was at the Ferguson unit. And I was standing on the outside, and we were going in, and I was shaking. I was scared. I was sweating, you know, and I'm looking at Kent. And he's probably thinking, what in the world are we doing? And I'm thinking the same thing. And I heard the Lord say this on the inside. He said, your greatest blessing is on the other side of your obedience. And that's what took me in. And then when I got in, I met guys like you. I fell in love with the idea of being able to be used in my purpose. Because, you know, there's no greater thing than to be in the perfect will of God. There's no better place to be. And you can even be in a prison like me, fulfilling my purpose. I tell people all the time, I found my purpose in prison. because I'm fulfilling my purpose by
Not me.
well, I get to leave every day. So, but you know, I mean, and that was I think the driving force behind it. So when I come into the prison, yes, of course, there are, you know, things you're thinking. You want to be secure and you want to make sure, you know, but I'm also, the call is so much bigger than any kind of
Yes.
fear that would come with that, you know, and so I constantly just, you know, we pray and ask the Lord to protect us, but we come in here and we meet men that are hungry for growth and change. You know, our class, I say, is for everyone until it's not. It's open to anyone who wants to grow, but it's a challenge to be able to say, you know, do you want change in life? Because guess what? Nothing will change unless you change.
Right. It's a choice.
It's a choice. And you can all day long say you want to change, but the proof is if you come to class, you do the work, you put in the effort, and you do hard things. And we're created to do hard things. We can do hard things, but it brings forth the fruit that we want in our lives.
Let me think. Now, you started with this, and we had a class of what, 30-something, right?
Yeah.
And
something
now
like
you are in how many other units?
We've been in a total of 6 units, but we're in 4 units weekly right now.
That's amazing.
And we've
right?
graduated over 3,000 men in the KPM Leadership Academy. So all this has been birthed. And, you know, we talk about having masterminds. We talk about the 5 attributes of a mastermind: humility and harmony and a discovery mindset, being fully present, and a creative imagination.
Correct.
And we keep seeing this thing working, and it's working for Priscilla and I. And in the midst of all this, we've been able to write our second book.
That's our
Well,
third
all right.
curriculum.
Our third curriculum, I'm sorry. But this book we're getting ready to launch right here at Polunsky. And one of the men here at Polunsky came up with this name because we kept saying, we know the content, we just don't know for sure what to name it.
Right.
And so one of our men right here in Polunsky, one of the guys came up and said, what about this? I've been thinking on this. And I said, my God, that's it. We've just started this in the Walls unit, and we're going to be starting it here in the Polunsky unit with our facilitators. So excited about it.
We're developing things based upon what we are seeing as we're teaching. So this is hot off the press, and we constantly are asking ourselves questions: what worked, what didn't work, how could we better serve you guys?
Yeah.
And so this curriculum, I mean, yes, we're using it in a prison, but this curriculum could help anyone. It'll be an opportunity for people to sit down and really kind of take a little bit more of a deep dive into the topic. And the topics are, you know, the first 6 are kind of like beyond success, their core values. And we took these based upon what people said. Hey, I want to hear a little bit more about identity and self-esteem. That seems to be a struggle that we all have. You know, we all feel a little insecure, don't know, you know, who we are. And so this helps to kind of identify that. And then the second half is about designing your life, not living on default, but living by design, and helping you to be able to really live that life out by creating that story and sharing that story with others. And so I think it's a great book. And, you know, we pilot it, and then we watch what happens afterwards,
Yes.
you know. And
Yeah.
so we just did Life Focus, which was the last curriculum that we developed, which was on vision, alignment for your assignment, how to get yourself aligned in your thinking. And so then we springboarded off on this one. One of the things that the KPM Leadership Academy really, that Kent and I are so passionate about, is changing the way we think. You know, if you think about it, I've shared this before with you guys in some of the classes, that we have like 60,000 thoughts that are bombarding our mind every day.
Correct.
We're only taking about 23,000 breaths a day. I would say thinking is pretty important, wouldn't
Yes, it
you?
is.
I mean,
Yes,
if
it is.
breathing is that important, I mean,
Yes.
and it's a lot more thinking than breathing is going on. And so we're trying to help people have an awareness of that, and then be intentional about how to change it, because most of those thoughts that are bombarding you every day are usually the same old stinking thinking that you've had for years. And unless you're aware of it, you just let it come, right? I mean, we just continue to have this pattern.
And then, you know, Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he.
Right.
You know, not just your head, but it drops down in your heart, where you're meditating on this in the I am scriptures and talking about your identity. And, you know, if somebody's listening today and you said, you know, I don't have a clear direction for my future. Well, you know what? This book is designed to help you to get clear. As you know, the KPM Leadership Academy is designed to help men unlock their potential through getting clarity, through shaping their attitude. You know, Zig Ziglar says about attitude, he says, an attitude's like a flat tire. You're not going nowhere till you fix it.
That's good.
You know,
yeah,
It's
yeah, that's
true.
correct.
You
too.
know, one of the things I remember the most about taking the class Beyond Success was the mantra that Priscilla liked to say, and what I think is what I say.
Yeah.
And it goes on and on. You know, what I think is what I say is what I do is who I become. I am.
I
That's
am.
right.
I am,
That's
and you
great.
just fill in the
Yes.
blank.
Well,
Yeah,
you know, the
that's
most
excellent.
the most powerful 3 words that you can say is I am, and that last word
I am courageous.
is what's going to change the
Yeah.
trajectory of your life. So if it's I am and it's a negative, that's what you're going to see in your life. But if we can begin to start shifting that, I am successful, I am overcoming, you know, I am a success.
I am becoming.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
becoming. When we begin to change that, so Kent and I, and anybody that takes the KPM Leadership Academy, and our students, I'm sure some of you are listening to this or watching this, and you know, every unit we go to, they're all unique and they're all different, but the message is the same. We want to help you. We're people builders. That's who we are. That's who God created us. And when he put us together, he knew that our personalities, even though we have differences, we have the heart of really to be an exhorter and to help people believe in themselves. And we tell people all the time, hey, we'll believe in you until you begin to start believing in yourself, because everybody has potential.
And you know, Priscilla is a cheerleader. She
Yes.
was head
Right,
cheerleader in high school.
Yes, I
She's
remember.
still cheering.
She taught
I
you
wanna
some
get to
good
know her.
moves, because during the class you used to do some nice
Good
front
thing
jumps.
we can't
I
see
can't rate
that.
up with her, but I,
For veterans only, with a caveat. The ward wants us to include some G4s at the table with us.
Yes,
Right.
and we're excited about that because this is the vision. The KPM Leadership Academy has come into the prison, and we reached veteran first because Kent's father was a lieutenant colonel in the Marines. My father was a Marine.
Hoorah.
Hoorah, yeah. And so, like Kent said, we were raised in boot camp. So one of the reasons we are here, because we want to pay it forward back to our veterans. And like Kent said, thank you all so much for what you have done. And I remember standing in front of that class one day, and it just came out of my, out of the abundance
And
of
what
the
did you
heart,
say?
the
What did
mouth
you say?
speaks. And I said, and it just came out, and I didn't even think about it, but it said, you fought for us, now we're going to fight for you. And those aren't words. Those are not just idle words that we're saying. We truly mean that from the bottom of our heart. We're forever indebted to the men and the women who serve our country, and we hold you in high esteem. And just because you're in prison, it does not change that for us.
You both are living up to that, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes, we felt
Thank
that.
you.
We
Thank
felt
you.
that. When y'all
Very
came
genuine,
in,
very genuine.
when y'all came in at one of the most dangerous times in Texas prison system during COVID, and y'all decided to come in and risk y'all's lives, we said, you know what? Yeah, they care.
We're there to encourage each other, to build each other up, to grow, to be able to develop into the people, to get out of the gap of where you are and begin to start living where you want to be.
Correct.
And, I say this a lot of times. I said, we talk about PTSD, and there's so many that struggle with PTSD. And I've found that veteran for sure, but there's a lot of people that aren't veterans that deal with PTSD,
definitely, yes.
post-traumatic stress disorder. Well, we've reframed that to positive thoughts spoken daily. And I believe when you can begin to start changing that thought
life.
system and speak life over you, and not and begin to deal and process. And we have classes that are dealing in process with it. Houses of Healing is doing a great job in being able to deal with some of the things that people have gone through. But as we change that, and I'm watching, it's like before our eyes, we're watching people really doing the work and really getting the results.
About graduates of the KPM Leadership Academy that got out of prison. Are you in contact with any of them?
We are, and we're so excited. This year, one of our goals for outside of the prison for our KPM graduates, because everybody, when they come through, which blesses our soul, they say, we want to do what you do. And we're like, we want you to do what we do. We would
Yes.
love for you to do what we do. And we need a team. And so for the first time, we're getting enough graduates out that we want to launch, and we are launching. We're in the beginning infant stages of an alumni program outside the prison walls. So we have a lot of guys now that are getting out, and y'all, they are doing fantastic.
Praise God.
They're landing great quality jobs.
and getting promoted.
Getting promoted.
Praise God.
And I think one of the most encouraging things is when, I tell you all the time, I said, this is like the Rosetta Stone of leadership.
Yes.
When you come to the KPM Leadership Academy,
You
you're
learn a new
gonna
language.
talk different. You're gonna walk different. You're gonna think different. You begin to start evolving into this new person, this person that is actually becoming a leader. And so these guys are going in and they're applying for these jobs, and guess what they're saying? Who are you?
Yes, yeah. Where'd you come from?
Where did you
Yeah.
come from?
Yes.
And they're able to tell them, I was in a leadership program called the KPM Leadership Academy. They're able to put it on their resume. But what we're
Amazing.
doing too, I believe in the prisons, and especially with our veterans, you're influencers.
Yes, you are.
And it's exactly what's happening in the world, in social media and things like that. They talk about influencers, and people are influencing fashion, and they're influencing food, and they're whatever the thing may be. But you're influencing. The veterans are raising the standard, and you're actually they're watching you. And so when we invite general population to come in, once we've established our veterans, you are giving them something. You're showing them a sense of patriotism and what this country is about. And you guys are influencing, I believe, in changing prison culture. You're showing them character and showing them, you know, how to carry yourself and discipline and all of those great core values. Oh, it broke my heart to come into a prison and a veteran not even want to say he was a veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We get that.
it's a lot. And, you know, we want to take the shame off.
That's right.
And everyone is welcome in the KPM Leadership Academy if you're wanting change, if you want to change and you want to put in the work. And we believe that people, you know, definitely can see that change in their life and step out of shame and step back into that place and get out of that gap that maybe you've been living in.
It's like a resurrection to me.
Yeah.
Because you already had the skills, you know, you already had the leadership skills from being in the military, most of us. And coming into prison, it's like the rug gets snatched out from under you, and now you're being told what to do in every aspect of your life until you come to KPM Leadership Academy. Learn how to be intentional, you learn how to take action, and you're just resurrecting something that's already there. Something that's been dead for years, and you now it comes alive again.
That is so good, Alan, because one of the things that we have discovered as we stepped in here on that cold November day in 2020, we have discovered that our assignment is unlocking veterans' potential.
Right.
And there's strategies to do that. And we call it up-level strategic leadership training.
And it works.
Transformational.
Yeah, don't forget transformation.
You forgot transformational.
When y'all came, this was a place full of thorns because there was no AC and it was cold in that gym.
It was very
You know,
cold.
and then during the summer there was no air condition.
It was
Very
hot.
in that gym,
Very
you know.
hot.
And so y'all pushed through all that, you know, and y'all said, you know what, we're gonna
kept coming
dig.
back, you kept
Yes, we're
coming
gonna
back.
dig in, and we're gonna show these men that we're not here. We're not just passing through. You know, we're here because we really care. you
Gilbert,
know?
I remember when you came to my bunk and asked me if I wanted to be in this class, and I told you, nah, I'm good. And you know what? It's the best decision I made while being in prison.
Wow.
Absolutely the best decision I ever made.
Hey, any closing remarks, guys?
We're very thankful for you, and thank you for having us on Tank Nation today. It's a joy to look at you and look you in the eye and say thank you. Thank you for giving Priscilla and I an opportunity to come here during COVID, and we're still here. And we cherish this moment, and we cherish our relationship, and we're looking forward to what we have in our future because we know it's going to be good.
Well, we know where y'all's heart's at, and we
Yeah.
know
Thank
that y'all had put the veterans first
Thank
ever
you.
since y'all got here, and so Sound Off wanted to be the first ones, you know, to do a spotlight on y'all, and we appreciate y'all. We've been praying for y'all, and we're so excited to have y'all back.
I want
You-
to say
we're
thank
glad
you,
to be
Kent,
back.
Priscilla, once again for all y'all do. Coming in here and spending your time, your effort, and not just here, but the other units you go to as well. And a shout out to all the veterans, men and women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed the show. Hoorah.
Hoorah.
Hoorah.